first experience with the internet was in about 1970. My math teacher had a funny-looking machine with a keyboard and a printer in a closet in the back of the room. It was connected to a telephone, which was connected to a modem, which was connected through the phone lines to a huge mainframe computer, which was about 30 miles away. The machine had no video screen at all. We communicated with the computer through the keyboard. The computer communicated to us through the printer. Somehow, with all this equipment, we played a game called Rocket, where we tried landing a rocket on the moon. In 1984, I had my first experience with a personal computer. It was in the library at the University of Minnesota, where I was going to medical school. I think I had to schedule a time to use it. I used it to print out lecture notes for my classmates. In 1986, my brother was selling computers at a store called Radio Shack. He had a computer at home that he allowed me to use. This is a picture of me playing a computer game with my daughter, who was on my laptop. Perhaps you could call her my laptop baby. In 1992, I was working as a doctor, and I was able to afford my first computer. Computers were very expensive back then. I think I spent about $2,000 for this one. It was an Apple Macintosh LC3, one of the first computers with a color video screen. The internet access I had was fairly limited back then and very slow. Every time I connected to the internet, my modem made this sound. Sometime in the early 2000s, I bought another computer. The internet was becoming a place to meet friends and write letters or emails. The most popular social website back then was MySpace, which was something like Facebook. But Facebook was not very popular at all back then. AOL, or America Online, was the most popular email website. When I got an email back in those days, I would hear a sound like this.
You've got mail.
It's funny that you hardly ever hear about MySpace or AOL anymore, even though they were very popular back then. In 2005, I started teaching online. My students were in their homes, and their homes were scattered all over Minnesota. I was in an office in Minneapolis. Online teaching was a very new kind of occupation. I started pretty much right at the beginning of this trend of online teaching. In the 2010s, the most important change was that most of my internet use was through my phone. My most popular websites were Stitcher, which allowed me to listen to podcasts where I could learn about interesting subjects. Google Maps, which gave me directions to drive wherever I wanted to go. And YouTube, which allowed me to watch videos on any topic I was curious about. The other huge change is that we began watching movies through the internet. Most people used to watch movies through cable, and now that's changing. Now, at the beginning of the 2020s, I spend a great deal of my day using YouTube. I get almost all my news and information through it. I also spend a lot of time making videos, like this one, which I upload to YouTube so my students can learn English. It's so interesting to see how the internet has changed my life and how it has changed over the years. I never would have imagined when I was back in my 8th grade math classroom that I'd be working on the internet and using it every day. It's hard to imagine what changes will happen in the future.